Hey guys, my name is Oleg, this is Bond, welcome to the channel. In today's video I'm going to do a review of Daniel Wellington fashion watch. What's wrong? Don't worry, you don't have to wear it anymore. Bond did not like this watch too much. So anyways, Daniel Wellington. A lot of people don't like them and I can understand why. I myself am not a huge fan of fashion watches, but I decided to give it a fair shot, wear it on my wrist for 1 week straight and give it a fair review. So let's get started. Alright guys, so here's Daniel Wellington Glasgow. Glasgow is the name of this specific model, so I think that refers to the color scheme and the NATO strap. So of course we have a blue and white NATO, and even though it's all stainless steel, it kind of looks like it's gold plated, but it's not. So let's get started with this review by looking at some basic dimensions. So it's about 41 millimeters in diameter, about 47 millimeters lug to lug. We have a 19.5 millimeters lug width and a thickness of only 6.5 millimeters. So it's a very thin watch. It has a very thin profile on the wrist, and even on this NATO strap, which usually NATO straps give watch a bit of a thicker feel. Because this watch is so thin, it looks great on the NATO. Now the case, as I mentioned, it's all stainless steel, even though it kind of looks gold plated, but it's not, and it's all polished, so there's no brushing, no transitions going on, except for this case back, and I'll give you a shot of that in about a minute or so. Now let's take a look at the dial. Taking a bit of a closer look at this dial, I gotta be honest, I really enjoyed the design of this watch. It's very minimalistic, very simple. If I were to design a dress watch, it would probably look very similar to what this watch looks like. At the top is just a Daniel Wellington logo and no other writing at all on the dial. I like also the choice of not having a seconds hand. Much appreciated, especially because it's a quartz movement watch. Now in terms of the movement, all I could find is that it's Japanese B11 quartz movement, whatever that means. Probably one of the cheap Japanese quartz movements that you can find for $3-4 on AliExpress or something like that. Now we have applied indices all around for hour markings, which is a nice touch. And it's all printed on the dial, so it also looks almost like it's a paper dial, which is kind of surprising, especially at this price point. So this watch here costs around $210 on the Daniel Wellington website, and if you look at department stores, it's closer to $300, so a pretty hefty price tag, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Another design element that I actually appreciate about this watch is how thin the bezel is around the watch. It's pretty much all dial, and looking at their official website, I believe it was always stated that it's a 40 millimeter watch. However, my caliper states that it's 41 millimeters. So just be wary of that, and it does wear big, as I will demonstrate in a little bit wearing it on my wrist. I also like these thin lugs with drilled lug holes. Nice touch, I wasn't expecting that. We have a crown at 3 o'clock position. Pull it out. It's not a screw down crown or anything. The water resistance rating for this watch is around 30 meters, so splash resistant, but don't take it swimming, don't take it into water, because the water will get inside and the condensation will get under this glass. Now in terms of the crystal, is just a mineral crystal. It's not sapphire, which is again kind of a downside of the watch costing over $200. Now this crown, even though it's tiny, it's easy enough to operate even with my sausage fingers. Alright, so here's a bit of a closer look at the case back. As you can see, it's just all stainless steel case back here with the pop up or pop down cover, so it's not a screw down, it's not a screw in case back. Around there it says timepiece by Daniel Wellington, water resistance 3 atmospheres or 30 meters, Japanese movement B11, and all stainless steel, and of course Daniel Wellington logo in the center. So again, done fairly well.
I think the design of this watch is by far its biggest selling feature. It looks quite nice, and again, wearing it on my wrist for about a week now, I did get some compliments on this watch, which is surprising because in my opinion, I was kind of not ashamed, but I wasn't really looking forward to wearing this watch. However, I did get some compliments on it, so take that as you will. Alright then, so what are the negatives of this watch? Why do so many people hate it? Why do so many watch snobs, quote unquote, hate these designer watches? Well, to be honest, the watch itself is alright. I mean, there's nothing special about it, but why a lot of people hate these watches is because of the price point. So as I mentioned before, it's around $210 US on Daniel Wellington website, and around $300 if you buy it from Amazon or one of the retail stores. I think they can be found a little bit cheaper, but this model with the 40 millimeters is around $250-300 US. So that's quite a bit of money for a watch that doesn't have sapphire crystal and is a quartz movement. There are a lot of other better options for that price. If you want an automatic watch and a nice looking dress watch for pretty much half of the price of this one, you can look at some Seiko 5 models. I have my favorite SNK K71, which is I bought mine for about $54, but they go for around $70 on Amazon, and in my opinion that's a way better watch than this. Or you could go for Orient Bambino, or even if you wanted to stick with the quartz movements, because you know, a lot of people might find automatic movements to be a little bit of a hassle. There's some Tissot models that are great. They have that horology behind them. They have the value with the sapphire crystal. They have brand recognition, and they have design that is very similar to this watch, but the value for money is a lot better. And again, it's no secret that jewelry industry watches, I consider being a jewelry industry, have high markups, have high margins. They're among one of the highest margin industries in the world, but Daniel Wellington took that margin to an extreme, because this watch, in my opinion, costs them around maybe $15 to manufacture, including the NATO strap, which is not that bad actually. The NATO strap is pretty nice. It held up well, but nevertheless, it's not a $300 watch. Again, other watch makers do have high margins, but at least they provide a little bit more value, and they have more horological relevance than this watch. So if you're looking for a Daniel Wellington, I might persuade you to, again, consider a Tissot or Orient Bambino, or even a Seiko 5. Those watches provide much better value for money. But if you absolutely want to purchase this watch, by all means, do what you want. Life is short and you should enjoy it. Just know that there are a little bit of better options out there, but this watch overall is not too bad. It's just way too expensive. And here's what a watch looks like on my 7¼ inch wrist. As you can see, it wears really nice, but it is a bit too large for being a dress watch, and especially with these thin lugs, it does wear a lot larger than it is. A big thank you to my friend Evgeny for lending me this watch for a review, and of course there is no lume shot because this watch has no lume.
Alright friends, so that was my review of Daniel Wellington. As you can see, the watch is actually not that bad, but at the same time there's nothing particularly impressive about it, and it's definitely not worth the amount of money that they're asking for it, especially if you can buy some better timepieces for around the same price. As I mentioned earlier, some Tissot models, and of course all the links will be in the description below if you're curious to check out some other alternatives to Daniel Wellington. I appreciate you watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I release new videos every Tuesday and every Friday. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you next time.